we got to talk to. The other thing is Matthew Hung and I did an interview yesterday with Brett Hayworth at Kaylit about the open house.
Mm-hmm.
And so Friday and Sunday on his What's the Frequency show, he'll be talking about that, and we gave some background on the old jail, talked about moving in on the new jail, that kind of stuff, and talked about the open house. So very appreciative for the interview, went great, and good plug for the open house.
On the open house stuff, something we better get figured out and decided very quickly. We had talked about running an ad in the Sioux City Journal, maybe the Danbury Review. There's another one that's like the Grapevine. Sorry, you're getting outside of my realm of guessing what all three of these papers' names are. But there's like 4 papers total. I think you need to take action for somebody to reach out to those papers and get that ad set up to run, because those papers don't publish all the time.
Yeah, and I'm afraid that like Mobile, their deadline is usually like late yesterday or first thing this morning. I'm guessing like Danbury probably would have been the same. Journal is so good, for sure. I don't know about Sergeant Blood for with the Grapevine or anything, but I know on some of those other ones, their deadline would have been tonight or first thing this morning. So,
well, which is still would need to reach out to them, but it probably better happen right away if we're going to do that.
Yeah.
Good. Right. And there will be a cost there, so you guys will have to be able to prove that.
And there's no media on this list. Have you heard back from some of the media who's all coming?
Well, I heard back from Sheila Barlow from IPR.
Oh, okay. So I guess you guys aren't going to tell them.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
I think it's just
Yeah.
We kind of want.
just another, say
All right. Okay, thank you, everyone. Item number 8 on the agenda is discussion on relinquishing LEC office assignments. And we'll leave that up to the committee. Shane, would you like to start the conversation?
Sure. Right now, the way the office assignments are going is the sheriff or Tony or somebody's assigning all the sheriff's offices, jail administration, same way. Courts have decided all their spaces, and the county attorney has names on everybody's offices. So I don't really think there's anything we need to do. Let them do what they're doing and just stay out.
Yeah, I had some questions, and so this item's kind of redundant, but it's good to talk about. Yeah, I agree. I mean, in your respective area, they control who's in what office. We don't need to hear it out there. So,
I have a question about that.
okay.
Could you step up to the microphone, please?
Hey, Sheriff Building Services. My question, I guess, I'm going to Dan and say, if the city approved James Lewis, county attorney, assigning the city office.
Let me follow up on that.
Sure, thanks.
Thanks, Ken.
How many offices for the city? One?
The city office was published in our memorandum of sharing which office it was. It was also part of the plans that it was the city office. So I don't know. I mean, that's what it was built for.
Don't disagree with what we voted on once.
I don't think I have that plan either. Or if it's sent to me, I haven't looked at it. So can you get that to me? I'll swing for the city.
Very good. All right. Anything else on discussion on LEC office assignments? Hearing none, we'll go to item number 9. Information regarding public transportation to the LEC, and I call on Shane Albrecht to begin that conversation, please.
Yeah. So basically, I want to just a point of fact to remind everybody. There's been some emails kicking around and everything else. The sheriff didn't get appointed until after the jail project was already built, came into office January 2nd of 2021. January 2nd. There's emails, something from a discussion from 6/20 of 21. Baker was what? Yeah, sorry, 6 of 20. Baker wasn't on yet, and currently the authority has no no say in transportation or anything like that. That'd be my opening kick on this whole thing. So, improvement.
Well, the authority has some responsibility that we don't want to shrug off. I mean, I think we should be a part of the discussion. We're part of the jail facility, we're part of the operation.
We own the building, but we do not have anything to do with the sheriff's office operation.
Yeah, I put this item forward because I think that what needs to happen is the county board of supervisors, the city council, the sheriff's office need to work together and talk about this. Because the judges have concern about how are some of these people going to get out there, how are their family members going to get out there, that sort of thing. What's going to happen when they make a release? But that's not within this body. Now, I would think with Agape moving in next door, building a building, that they're going to want transportation services out there. And so I think that there's going to be more of a need going forward for transit out to that area. And so I think we'll have a discussion with the board of supervisors, which supervisor would be best to kind of head that up from our side. I've been talking to Dan to see if he'd be interested in doing that. So, but that's what I think. I think it needs to come from the city and the supervisors and the sheriff's office. Kind of set up, because we really don't have any authority over that. So.
The authority has no funding for this.
Yeah.
Because there's no cost.
Well, I just have an interest in it being successful and that it goes smoothly both for the county and the city and for the jail operation. So I have an interest. I don't give the media the impression that I have no interest in transportation. I have a very strong interest. Now, whether the authority board takes it up or not, it's up to the majority. And if they don't take it up, I still have a strong interest.
But I guess you could represent the city council and the authority working on that.
Yeah, I think that, again, we need to understand that I don't believe the authority has anything in the decision-making process. Being involved in it is probably a good thing. But I don't feel, since we don't have a method of funding or anything else in it, I don't see how we're involved in decision-making on it.
Yeah. And you were on afterwards, everybody was on afterwards, so you can wash your hands of it. But keep in mind too, part of the sale job was that we would provide transportation when the Lake Forest people, citizens, were concerned about what happens when people start being turned away, being sent out the doors. Where do they go?
I'm being told to be quiet.
I'm sorry. I am looking at you, you're smiling, the other one's smiling.
Well,
But no, so it was just part of the representations made with us. I don't want to lose sight of that either.
I'd like to see the entities, the city and the county and the sheriff's office get together and work it out and
I think that's a good solution.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have some issues with what was said.
okay.
I was hired as an owner's representative to represent the owner. I'm not washing my hands of this. I'm telling you, I wasn't around for these conversations. So I don't appreciate being said I was washing my hands of something I'm not. I do what I'm told to help with this, okay? But I wasn't privy to any of those conversations as all those represent. Okay? Not saying I'm washing my hands of it, saying as the owner's rep, I'm not responsible for operations. I'm responsible for construction.
Yeah. It hit me wrong. It hit me wrong when you emphasized, you said that before, you said it in email. It just hit me wrong. So I'm sorry if I offended you. And maybe that was the wrong term to use. I'm comfortable talking to Ron because I pretty much talk freely.
Yep.
And so I'm sorry if it offended you. Sheriff, if I offended you, you're not washing hands.
I'm not offended.
But it was something that was representative. I need an acknowledgement that was represented to the public that there would be something to solve transportation.
Unfortunately, I wasn't part of this.
And I wasn't at that meeting back in 2020. I was not at that meeting, but a meeting occurred, and I just want to make sure we, from time to time, the authority struggles with credibility. And I want to make sure that we have credibility with the public and with what we're saying. And if we walked out of here saying, Sheriff, that's your problem. County, that's your problem. City, that's your problem. I don't want to give that impression. I don't. I'm not saying you are. I am. It's a very important topic, important enough, and I'm not even saying anything about kind of coming up with the last minute on this, or at least coming up with, we need to find a solution.
So,
And that's what's important.
yeah, so just for the record, this is not a last minute solution. When we were looking at moving last September, I had communications with, the transportation director for the city several months prior to that, so probably maybe a year and 3 months ago, or a year and 6 months ago, but was told that there was no plan by the city to provide public transportation. There wasn't any transportation out to the trailer court. The nearest locations were 7th and Lewis, or the Walmart over on Floyd Boulevard. Expressed there was some concerns about how are people going to get back downtown, how are people going to get out to trials, how are sex offenders that register at the sheriff's office going to get out there. We've remedied some of what we do, but I would just remind everybody that the sheriff's office does not have any public transportation. Woodbury County does not have public transportation. The city has public transportation. So, not to say that we don't want to be part of the solution, but we don't have a bus, we don't have a transit authority group. We don't, and I was told, I don't remember the specific numbers, but it was several $100,000 a year to do a part-time route out there. And I have no idea what was said in meetings in June of 2020, but whoever would have made any references to making any commitments, they weren't there was nobody there that could have made a commitment like that.
Yeah, the option for discuss.
Okay.
I understand.
So hopefully, and our concern is, and I've expressed this, I think the chief of Mueller and I have discussed this in several months past, that when people are released, they're going to be released just like they are here. They walk out the door and that's it, and they're released, and they're responsible for getting to wherever they're going to go on their own. We don't give them a ride anywhere now. Now the convenience is they're downtown. So if they live within walking distance of downtown, they can still walk, right? So I would think the motivation for the city is that those folks are going to walk still downtown from where we're at. And there are multiple places that they're going to go through between walking out our door and getting to wherever they're going. But once they're out our door, they are in the city of Sioux City. So the police department, I would assume, will have an increased call volume if there isn't some route of public transportation figured out between now and then. And it's not a new concept. This was discussed months, over a year ago. And it just wasn't a priority then because it was something that was going to happen, somewhere out into the future. And now that it's here, now there's people that have been brought to the table, which I think is a good thing. But there's going to need to be solutions. And we will certainly want to be a part of the discussions as to what that solution is going to be. But we're not budgeted to provide transportation, nor do I feel we have any obligation to do that in any way, shape, or form. So how we get that done, we're open, but to have those discussions, but certainly don't feel in any way, and our budget's set.
Yeah, and I'm not saying the commitments for the options were discussed. For example, vouchers, whether it's a cab ride, or Uber, or vouchers. So there might be some solutions
Sure.
I haven't thought about.
Yep. No, I think those were discussed because in other jurisdictions, Potawatomi County, for example, they do use vouchers. But I don't know who pays for those. I don't know how that's budgeted. I don't know. I don't know enough about that system. So all those are fun. All those are discussions that certainly will need to be had. But I would agree that it's probably not. It's certainly not the responsibility of the sheriff's office. I also don't believe it's the responsibility of the LEC Authority.
Authority. I don't even necessarily know it's the responsibility of the county, and maybe it's not the responsibility of the city. I don't know. But I do know the city is the only one of any of those entities that has a form of public transportation.
Public transportation.
That's right.
But they have access to cab drivers, Uber drivers.
Sure.
And maybe one, and maybe some other.
If the city has a funding, if the city has a funding source that they want to, fund those vouchers and whatever else, and that's how we hand those vouchers out, we can certainly look at that as an option.
So we're not involved in it, but a suggestion, if I could. Potawatomi County really pretty closely parallels our situation physically. Might be worth someone checking in with them to find out what their decision was and how they arrived at it.
Good idea. Or how we're paying for it. The other thing we would need, Sheriff, that you have information on is when those releases are, when people are actually leaving.
Well, we talked about,
For those that have, come and go, you might want to come to me here.
we talked about that we would, this was over a year ago, I think, that in the discussions that we would do everything we could to coordinate our release times with when a part-time bus driver. But I was just told that it's not in the budget, that probably wasn't going to happen.
But you could coordinate release.
Absolutely.
As far as public coming and going, you can't. Is that like April?
Well, there's certain times that are more likely that people are going to come for morning trials, for afternoon trials, and that stuff can all be worked out. I don't know that a bus line needs to make a stop every hour.
Right.
I think, to me, I would think a part-time line, and again, I don't really understand what a part-time line actually means. Is it making 2 trips in the morning and 2 in the afternoon? I don't know. But, we're open to do what we can to work to find a solution. I firmly don't believe that it's the responsibility of the sheriff's office, especially from a funding aspect, to provide any transportation to anybody who wants to release from our facility. But as far, I don't want to beat a dead horse. As far as finding a solution, we're very open to figure out how we can remedy some solution and make it, the best for everybody involved.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Sheriff.
So are you making a lot of the phone calls when they go to leave, someone can pick them up, or?
Yeah, some of them do.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like it's every single inmate that's gonna do that.
I'm sitting there for a solution, funding solution. 80% of the arrests are from the city of Sioux City, so maybe the arresting agency provides the funding solution for the money for the voucher for if they get released. That way, each agency, if they take somebody to jail, no, they're gonna have to be responsible for maybe providing them the ride back downtown. I don't agree with, but I'm sitting back there thinking that might be a solution.
Yeah. That'd be the kind of discussion I hope we could have.
Yeah. So I think we're open to having discussions to help remedy the issue. I just don't see in any way, shape, or form that it's certainly the responsibility of the county and the sheriff's office to absorb those costs. So.
Thank you.
If you want me to participate on behalf of the authority, I'm happy to do it. But that'll be your decision.
Okay. Item number 10.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we want this back on the next authority meeting, so, because it was just information. You would need to have it as action.
Understand that, yes.
Public work being to represent the authority.
And I think we could have a discussion at that time. Is it right for the authority to have representation on that committee since we have no oar in the water, if that makes any sense? I mean,
If Dan was participating in the city council and report back to us, that's fine, but I don't think that we need to designate, because if we're not.
we're not really ever going to be involved in the decision-making process.
Yeah.
If you could represent the city and report back to us, that would be good. We'd know what the status would be. Please. All right. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 10, information and update on the LEC project, and I'd call on Shane Albrecht for that, please.
Yeah, I'd like to ask, Chad and Kenny to come up, please.
curveball here.
Enough on this. Sheriff was very excited to see you're starting to get your office staff out there, so talk to the group, because they're gonna be the most curious about challenges or what your feedback is from trying to bring people out. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So, we officially opened our administrative offices in the new facility as of yesterday at 8 a.m. I think we finally got it opened at about 8:15. When we all started calling around, trying to figure
We
out.
can close at 8:30, Sheriff, but we finally figure out how to pay it.
Okay, 8:15 and going around at 8:30. The cage that's in the front there, all of us thought the other one had the keys to it, and it took us about 25 minutes to actually find the keys, but we got it up, and we had our first customer sometime yesterday morning. So across the street, the old LEC, the only people that are there from our administrative offices are our sex offender registry clerk. We have one administrator in the state of the office, a deputy, and then we have our transportation division, which is still down in the offices. And then all of the jail facility is still across the street. We will move them at some point in the next probably, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks. So as far as our administrative duties, we're all up and running. They're just typical moving glitches. Where is this? How does this light turn on? Different things like that. Nothing that I would consider major. There's certainly no black mold in the ceiling tiles like across the street that we've been working with for the last several years, so that's really a great upgrade. Kenny's guys have been working diligently from the day we got the keys. Those guys have been working nonstop, so my hats are off to Kenny for all the work they've been doing. They've done an exceptional job getting us to where we're at today, and I'm pretty confident that they're going to continue to do that. As soon as we can get in and do it safely and make the transition, we'll do it. And it'll be one of those deals where the lights will be on one day and they'll be off the next day and we'll be in. So,
Thank you.
We're pretty excited.
Yeah, thanks, Sheriff. Hey, Todd, would you fill in for the sheriff now, please? So I wanted everybody here to get an idea of what Kenny's day looks like, in my opinion. Okay? So here in my hand is a document. These are called warranty items. So these are there's 10 pages here. So what Todd does, through communications with the sheriff's office, Kenny, anybody else that's out there, or me walking around, creates a warranty item. Something that's not the way it's supposed to be, a door that's not functioning, something's not working. And Kenny has to point those out, give them to Todd. Todd has to call Hausman, and Hausman has to schedule people to come. Well, when Hausman schedules somebody to come fix a warranty item, Kenny has to take the guy away from what he's doing to escort people into different areas. Well, the sheriff does. I mean, either one of those two, Tony's losing people, Kenny's losing people, but we're trying to get this warranty stuff coming. Until we run into problems, we've got issues right now. I'm just gonna make everybody, including the public, aware, we have issues with boiler number 1. The thing has went down many times, you've heard me talk about it before in local meetings. Katie might not have because she wasn't here back then, but Matt would. Boiler 1 has had huge problems. Boiler 1 now has 3 new circuit boards. It has a brand new fan sitting by it, and the last update they're gonna give you. The manufacturer is shipping a controls program to Suter to be able to download the program to send it back to them so they can figure out what is causing this thing to not function. I was here on site till 6 o'clock last Friday with Ron, waiting for Suter people to come. Kenny was here long after that. The boiler went into alarm by 9:30 again that night. Suter was actually there by 9:40, saying the boiler was back to normal. Yesterday, when the sheriff's office was in his building, we had the chiller fail. So both lines of the chiller failed. So before we were freezing the building out, then we started cooking the building out. So I just wanted to take a second, and let Todd speak about warranty stuff. I mean, there's quite a bit. Council is sending people almost on a daily basis to fix the warranty items. Kenny was here at 6:30 last night. The roofer that's coming to fix the roof was here doing a thermal imaging of the roof. For everybody's knowledge, when the roof leaks, there's boards underneath that roof that could have got wet that need replaced too. He's taking a thermal imaging camera shots at the roof, because you can see those wet spots that would need to, you're not gonna find everyone, but to give you an idea how much material you need to have on hand for when you're tearing the roof apart, so that you know what you're gonna have to replace.
How many items are on the warranty list?
There's 10 pages right now, Dan, I didn't do it number-wise, I did the pages.
And those are all issues in addition to punch list items.
It's all additional.
We finished for 60 days.
Yes.
There are no new punch lists. The new items are warranty items. So there's no addition.
Punch list.
On top of the, remember there was the whole 33 items that were left on the punch list, plus the 15 other ones, so there was like 48 to 50 items. That just shy of 50 that housing was correcting by October 16th. For the next 1 year, there's a warranty on the building, so we have a warranty of something that's not working for the next year. So this falls into the other warranty things, that this was not known, but this is part of your 1 year warranty on a great big building.
Basically, Dan, what it amounts to is early on, we knew we had a punch list, but things are now showing up that aren't functioning correctly. That becomes the warranty item.
Okay.
So when we open the building, dressed out, the light used to work, okay? It doesn't come on now, it says it's on, but it doesn't come on. That's warranty item. You still need a light. You're still responsible for it, but if it's not working, that 1 year they have to correct it.
Okay.
So that's what Todd's doing, he's keeping track of this in the detailed logs so these things aren't missed.
So I think one of the things that, the authority, probably the county has to track as far as warranty items go, or something we need to look at, is probably any of those warranty items that might have been affected, by the late opening of the facility. That may be due to damages that we're trying to see, in the future. Some of these things might not have existed, had we not had some of the design problems that we experienced. And so I think there might need to be a separate list for maybe a few of those items. As far as on, sheriff's office move went, that went really smooth. I see that one off without a hitch. We couldn't get the main entrance open to begin with. That's a small bump in the road compared to other problems we could have experienced. So that went really well. Warranty items have been the biggest struggle for building services to date. I've had, in the previous past 2 weeks, I've had 3 maintenance people with contractors every day, and they've done nothing else. So the list of approximately 140 items we needed to work on, in between the turnover in the jail being occupied, all got put on hold for 2 weeks. And so that's the amount of time that's existing there just to take care of subcontractor needs, and it's necessary. We need to see what they're actually doing to verify, what they're fixing, if they're fixing it, if it was a problem that they may have caused, if it was just a normal warranty item or what it was. And I guess our second biggest obstacle is just keeping the heating and cooling system running. As Shane said, we have a problem with the boiler that's not been fixed. They're working on that diligently. We have state-of-the-art boilers. They are very, very good boilers. The manufacturer representative tells me he's never seen this problem before. The contractor, subcontractor, CWC, was on the phone with their specialized technician yesterday. He said he's never seen this problem ever before, this boiler. So we're working through that issue. We also have a problem with the chillers that they haven't identified yet. And hopefully they'll come to some kind of a solution with that. So
Stuart's working on that too.
Stuart's working on that as well, yes. As long as we stay on.
Thank you.
So they think a lot of these issues are electronic software formatting. Is that kind of where they're at right now?
Right now, where they're at is the boiler itself. They're not sure it's actually getting the pulse signal. That's actually tells the fan to turn on. 'Cause you unplug the power from it, the fan runs.
Sure.
The control power from it, the fan runs. So Suter gives this boiler a light switch. Basically, it tells it to come on. And these things are state of the art. They've got their own program, their own safeties, their own everything. The light switch tells them to start, but something internal in there is not letting it start. Sure. Which is why they replaced all the boards. Why we have a new blower fan. They found out that it doesn't fix the problem. The new fan does not. Okay? So they push it on a card over there, try to plug it in, it doesn't fix the issue. And that same tech had said they had never seen that fan ever need to be replaced in the life that they've been doing this. That's not a part that normally fails.
Yeah.
If you look at the inside of the boiler, I think we've got a combustion chamber left and a heat exchanger. The only two things that aren't sitting there brand new that we haven't tried yet. So, okay. So it's not Suter's not trying. It's just got to get through this problem.
There's two boilers.
Yep.
And the redundancy is
Not there.
not working.
There is no redundancy happening right now. If boiler one is down, boiler two doesn't know how to start. And boiler one happens to be the one that's down.
Okay.
It relies on what it sees from the other boiler to decide what it needs to fire to do. Okay? Kevin's still on the phone. We've had meetings with Housman. We've got values stuck to the substantial completion items. And that's been shared with Housman. Kevin, anything else?
Yeah, we're just working on close estimates to maintain a fair amount of, warranty, owners and operator manuals, stuff like that. We'll go through all that, make sure that's all properly documented, turn it over to you all, with the project complete. So, other than that, we're just trying to close all the loose ends.
And that's a huge thing for Kenny and for the authority is what Kevin's working on getting done. Is the question that Kenny will have is, what's he got in so the authority have? What do we have for warranties on A, B, and C? And there's a book that Kevin's working on getting put together that will tell you warranties on closures, on roofs, on this, that, on the metal panels outside, on boilers, on all the stuff. So there's a ton of warranties here that people have to know are in place, because those are also things then if they fail in that. There's 3 years on compressor, there's blah, blah, blah. 2 years on Actrix electronics. There's different things at different lengths. So keeping track of that, knowing what you have a warranty on and what you don't.
Yeah.
So you're not
You
getting.
expect the architect to put that together, right?
He is.
You know what I'm saying, it's an expectation.
Yeah,
It's not something new in the
No,
business.
it is exactly expected.
Your warranties.
Yes. But I'm just,
Can't even read.
but you need to organize in a way that's not just, and that's what Kevin's making sure.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right, anything else?
I think if you walk away without telling us what the warranties are.
All right, anything else on, update on the LEC project? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to item 11, discussion and action on future LEC Authority meetings. And I call on Shane Albrecht to start that conversation.
So one of the things I thought we should talk about is food. The authority, we've had meetings every 2 weeks forever. Okay, we have decisions coming up in closed sessions, Dan, that we're gonna have things going on. But I wanted to make sure everybody still wants to stay on this every 2 weeks pattern, kind of until we get our claims on our litigation done, if that makes sense to everybody. Just wanted to ask that question to open it up for everybody to think about what's the right, because the other way, we're gonna have bills that are gonna come up, whether they're bills to Jody's firm or whether they're start to be retainage bills or other bills. But we could then call an authority meeting as needed to cover bills, and not have one scheduled to do every 2 weeks. And then just have a closed session when we need a closed session, not having a set path. With the building being open.
Yeah, yeah. I think I want to get Jody's input on that, because she's going to be driving the bus on it. After we're finished, after you're done with your contract, Jody's going to kind of be deciding when we need to have those meetings and when we don't need to have those meetings.
Well, one of the things, just to correct something I think we ought to make clear, is if we've still got that process going on with Jody and we don't have all of our negotiations or litigation or whatever completed, we're going to need Baker Group to be right there with us. They've got a big hand in this.
But maybe not at the same expense we're paying now.
That,
And I would hope that would drop down.
yes, we can talk about
But
that.
that's something. You asked a question, my answer is, what's Jody's input on that? Because you talked about the claims, you talked about everything else, but Jody's gonna be leading this, so I just want to have her input.
Do we want to have that input now, or do we want to have it when we're in the closed session?
She's on the phone.
I know.
I think that we should continue every 2 weeks, at least put it in the building, because I can't talk to you guys out of this. So this is about the best time that I get good information, and Housing's still working on getting stuff done. And I think that the public wants to know that to make sure that they're getting stuff done. So at least through the middle of October, we hit final completion, and then hopefully Housing's got those things completed by then. But I think for at least the next 2 meetings, we should probably still do it every 2 weeks, and then we can reevaluate. But I think, or 3 meetings, I guess. But I think we need to at least get through the final completion of this thing, see how it's been off, and then we can go from there. And then we've had shotgun meetings to approve a claim. I mean, that's not a big deal, you know. So
If that
Maybe we just do it until
final completion,
final completion.
and then we don't look at it again.
We look at it after October.
I think as long as there's still stuff going on out there, I think it's good that we're together and.
I make the motion that we continue to have meetings every 2 weeks until final completion, and at that time, we reevaluate where we think we need to go. All in favor, aye? Aye. Passes 3-0. Thank you.
So Jody can give us your input later, I guess.
She said she might have to step away. She might have.
She's on the call, but
Yeah, she's on.
She said during this time that she was in mediation, that she might have had to jump off.
All right. Item number 12, public concerns. Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 13, authority board member concerns.
I just had, 2 things, just things that I've heard that I wanted to clear the air, and Chad talked about a little bit with the movement process, but I've got all kinds of comments as well. The authority is not making sure, it's not an itinerary for people moving in or whatever. We don't do anything regarding the movement. That's the sheriff's office, they're already moving, they will move the inmates when it works best for the sheriff's office. The attorney's office, they are gonna move out there when it's best for the attorneys, the judges are moving. So the authority, we just have nothing to do. We obviously want to, you know, help in any way we can with the movement process, but that's just not our deal. And as far as the prisoners, I hope everybody respects the sheriff's office. They will do that when it is the best for the sheriff's office, for our jailers, for the inmates, and do it as safe as possible. It's none of my business when they're gonna do that. That's up to them. That's why he's elected, and so they will take care of that.
We're the landlord.
Yep.
With the landlord.
They're the tenant.
Yes.
So,
Very good. Very
I
good.
just, yeah, I've had just a lot of very comments.
Oh, you get more calls than anything.
Cute, everybody. Well, the other one was just say cute. Kenny has been involved with his guys, and there's so much going on out there, and they're busting the butts to whether it's show the husband guys around, or get people moving there, get stuff set up. They're doing everything they can, and you know, the authority we've had Kenny on site through this whole thing. He's been learning. He knows, he's gonna know that building front and back, and so he's, the authority in any way is not trying to keep building services from doing their job, nor are we wanting to replace what they're doing after this thing's open. I mean, the board of supervisors have hired more people for Kenny's staff, and they're fully prepared for Kenny and his team to take over the management of this building and that kind of stuff, and we're helping facilitate that, and in no way are we trying to undermine what they're trying to do, and we can't legally. I mean, we can't hire anybody, we can't force the board to do something, and so, appreciate what you're doing with it, Kenny, and just keep up the good work to you and your guys, so.
Well, that coupled with the remarks the sheriff made about how well you perform for building services. I knew you were good, but the sheriff's comment was outstanding about how you handle it.
Yeah, I would like to second that, because in those remarks,
Thank you.
let's keep it working, so. He wants to.
Okay, any other comments?
When you kept the existing LEC kind of patch,
No,
you tell me once and never ask the question, so I'm sorry. No, it's the answer, huh?
We're down to 2 minutes to close session. Nothing? All right. We stand down for closed session.